Hey folks, Tyler here with seawaywhiskywire. Well guys, it is January 25th, which means it is time to celebrate Scotland's national poet, Mr. Robbie Burns. So go watch the intro, come on back, we're going to pour ourselves something good and toast the bard. Stick around guys. Well hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and like I said, it is January 25th, which means it is time to celebrate and toast the national poet of Scotland, the bard, the enigma, the man himself, Mr. Robert Burns. So grab yourself something from Scotland. If you got something from the lowlands, preferably, that's where Burns was from, pour that. I don't actually have anything on my bar from the lowlands, but I do have this lovely expression from Long Row here, the Long Row peated non-aged statement that Mrs. Seaway and Minnie Seaway picked me up for Christmas, and I am really enjoying this particular dram. Pour a wee dram of that to toast the bard. But yeah, nice natural color there. Comes in at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, no color added, from the Springbank Distillery in Campbelltown. And you know what? It's not a formal review. We're just giving a couple tasting notes here and go through it. But it is a delight. So let's toast him here. Let's toast to Robbie Burns, the man, the myth, the enigma, the immortal, Mr. Robbie Burns. Sláinte. Lovely. Mouth coating. Good level of peat there. Nice fresh fruits, nice citrus, beautiful. Really enjoying this one here. Yeah, so hopefully you guys got something good in your glass. Hopefully you got something that you want to drink along with friends and whatnot. Hopefully you're celebrating tonight, having some nips and tatties, maybe some haggis. We actually took part in a local event there for our Burn Suppers, actually on January 17th with my local Scotch club. And like I did last year, just kind of wanted to go through that with you guys and highlight some of the festivities that went on that night. So let's start out with the whiskeys here. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already know this, but we had 3 expressions that were presented at the Burn Supper there. So we had the Aberfeldy 16-year-old, we had the Glengoyne 15-year-old, and we had the Mortlach 16-year-old. So a nice range of ages there, all 15 and above, which was very nice to see. I actually got to present the Aberfeldy 16, so that was a real treat for me. I hadn't presented at a Burn Supper yet, and I was called out. It was actually kind of an interesting story. I was very late getting into getting registered for the Burns Supper. It was actually sold out, and I went to our president and had to kind of, not beg him, but I had to ask him if he could make room for me, which he was gracious enough to do it. But it wasn't soon after that he did ask me to present. So Rob, I see what you're doing. But anyways, it was a great evening filled with lots of festivities, lots of laughter, humor, good stories, and great whiskey too. So what did we do in the night there? Well, we started off, Rob piped us in, our club president. Rob, he's very active in the pipe there. He's been playing for years and years. And, he piped us in there and started the dinner off and the festivities off with our Selkirk Grace. We welcomed everything with Scotch eggs as the beginner. And, the Scotch eggs, it was Rob's recipe. And, they were fantastic. If you never had Scotch eggs, they're delicious. They're like sauce, like an egg, hard-boiled egg wrapped in sausage with spices and kind of a breading on them. Very good and very hearty. Then we had our salad and into our presentation of whiskey. I was the first one up, and I'm telling you, it was a big crowd, guys. I think it was something like around 120, 130 people in there. And I got to admit, even with that, I was a little bit nervous going up there. But once he started going in there, it really started to flow. What can I kind of get into the notes of the Aberfeldy 16? 40% ABV, likely chill filtered, likely color added to it there. But you know what? It was a good whiskey there. Aberfeldy is really the workhorse of the Dewar's group, so you really get a lot of those tantric honeys in there, those really heathered honey flavors, lots of caramel, very easy sipping, and a little bit of like dark fruit. There's a bit of sherry influence, but not a whole lot. But a little bit of leather at the back end too. For a 40%, I was pretty impressed with it. And you know what? Carried a price tag of about $100 at the LCBO, which for a 16-year-old Scotch, I wasn't complaining. It was a pretty good deal in that one there. Then we got into the Glengoyne 15-year-old, which is kind of a weird one. It's a hybrid of a lowland and a highland Scotch, but I think it kind of falls more to the highlands. It was very good. A gentleman sitting at my table presented it. It was a very nice whiskey. I believe it was 43% ABV, and I want to say LCBO wise, 116, 117 bucks. It was mainly kind of bourbon and there might have been a little bit of sherry influence in there. To me, it was very was all right. It was fairly pedestrian. It didn't have as much character, I think, as the Alberfeldy 16. I could be just impartial because I presented that, but yeah, it was pretty good. Nonetheless. Anyways, then we had our address to a haggis, which I would love to recite address to a haggis. I actually watched a couple of videos before filming just to see if I had any chance in heck of doing it. I do not, but I do have Mr. Rob Miller, who was our club president. He was gracious enough. He was the one that recited it for us there, and I was happy to videotape him to present it. So, Rob, you're probably going to kill me for showing this, but roll it.
Honest donkey face. Great chieftain of the Pudman race. Abundama, you talk your place. Page, great theorem. Will are you worthy of a grace lines me on? The groaning drencher, there you feel. You heard it. Like a distant hill. Your pin would make it ill. Time to eat. While through your pores the dews distill like amber bee. His neck, see rustic labor dipped, and cut ye up with ready slight, trashing your gushing entrails bright like honey ditch. Whoa! What a glorious sight! Warm, reeking, rich. Then, horn for horn, they stretch and strive. Deal pack a high note on they drive. They're all their welts guides below are bent like drums. Then I'll give men, mis like the ride. He think it comes. Is there that, or his French ragout, or olio would start a sow? Fricassee with hacker, stew. With perfect scorn I look down, with sneering, scornful view, on such a dinner. Poor devil. See him or his trash, as feckless as a weather flash, his spindly shank a deep whiplash, his knee a knit, through bloody flood the field to dash, oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds her tread, clapping her wally neva blade and she'll mock it whistle, and legs, arms, and heads will snap like that's a bristle. Ye powers, which mock mankind of fair, yes, you don't, Trump, and wish their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants me skanking wear that jouts in luggies, but if ye wish a grateful prayer, here a haggis!
Woo! I think he did a great job, everybody. I don't know. It was a great night, great laughter. You can hear me snicker in the background too, which I couldn't edit out. Anyways, then we got on to the haggis afterwards. We had Canadian haggis, which obviously is not not real haggis per se, but I mean it's like the epitome of haggis, close to what we can get in Canada here. But very, very good, very, very hearty. I'll put a picture of it somewhere up and around here. Going for one more sip here, guys. Shouldn't say one more sip. There'll be much more sips after this. Then we got into our main course dinner, which was chicken with mango chutney, coconut curry, delicious with some jasmine rice, excellent. Then we get into the final whiskey, which was the Mortlach 16. First time I'd ever had a Mortlach, guys. Comes in at 43% ABV from Diageo. I imagine colors added. I imagine there's chill filtration, but it was interesting. I think it's primarily sherry finished. Or sherry matured. I could be wrong. I'm sure the comments will let me know if I am. But you know what? I found it very interesting. It kind of reminded me of a Klein Leash a little bit. Kind of had that waxy characteristic to it. Medium finish, but it was very, very, it was waxy in the end, which I really enjoy in a whiskey. You get some nice dark fruits in there. I got some vanilla, some honey as well. But yeah, it was very interesting. I was very excited to try some Mortlock for the first time, and definitely would definitely try and seek some out in the future there. And that higher age statement, I think, really adds to it. I was actually talking to one of our vice presidents or co-chairs of the club there, and that's actually the one he presented, and it's one of his favorite whiskeys going. So I can definitely see why he's such a fan of the Mortlock 16. Very, very, very good. We did some other presentations there. There was presentations of the Immortal Bards, so a nice toast there to Robert Burns. We had a club member recite some poetry. I actually tried to go and find some poetry, but given the time, I just didn't have time to practice up a little bit. I generally get told that when I do say stuff, I don't come off as very cultured. I don't know what that means, but maybe you can hear it in my voice here. It's a Canadian thing, or it's a Anglo-Saxon thing. I don't really know. Anyways, I don't come off very cultured when I say stuff sometimes. But anyways, I digress. We had a legacy. They have a legacy charity thing they do every event now. From one of our, actually from the club president's father. They donate a bottle, and you buy tickets on it. This time here it was a All Blair 16-year-old that I missed out on winning, but the gentleman that did win, I think it was $1,100 that we had raised at the club that night, and all that went to charity. So, hats off to those guys for putting that together, and hats off to Rob's father for allowing us to raffle it off there and give that to charities locally here in the Seaway, which was absolutely great. Yeah, I don't know. I may be being a little long-winded here with this. It was a great event, and I love these events. I love my little Scotch club, and I say little, but I mean, again, 130 strong at this event, guys. And this little building we had was just packed up to the gills. But yeah, it was a great night. And I hope you guys are having a great night. I hope you're celebrating with friends and family and celebrating safe. Maybe you're having some neeps and tatties. That sound cultured? I don't know. Maybe you're having some haggis, but whatever you're doing, hopefully you got something good in your glass. Hopefully you got some lovely Scotch, and hopefully you're with family and friends and the ones you love. So again, we'll go for one more sip here before we cheers off here. Actually, maybe I'll just wait. Let's give one more cheers here to Mr. Robbie Burns, the man, the myth, the immortal, the enigma, the national poet of Scotland, to Mr. Robbie Burns. Slàinte.